Okay, everybody, this is Team Fearlessly Authentics bi-weekly Zoom on October 23rd, and today we are talking about celebrations and success and recognition. I am so thrilled to have Amy and Stephanie live on the Zoom with us tonight, all cozied up, ready for the evening. So a couple quick announcements. Tomorrow there is another sneak peek of Core de Force, and they are donating money for everybody who logs in and does it. Anyone remember the amount or what it's going to? Oh, good. $10. I'm unmuting Stephanie. And what does it go to?
I think it's the boys and it's like the big sister.
Big sisters. Big brothers, big sisters. Yes, I knew that. Thank you for the reminder. So everybody get in there and log in and do the workout tomorrow because it's a great organization. The second thing we need to talk about is Super Sunday, which is next Sunday, October 30th, a week from tonight. It's from 12 to 3. It's downtown Portland. If it's your first time attending, I always buy your ticket for you, so you go for free as a new coach or a first time going to Super Saturday event coach. And we're carpooling, so it's important to let us know if you're going so we can all find a place to carpool together. There is a pre-team breakfast that we're, some of us are not going to. I'm not able to attend it. I have a women's group already that morning planned. And then not everybody stays for the workout, so we'll figure out the best way for everyone to carpool together. So no worries there. I think those are my only announcements tonight because I don't want to keep everyone forever. So just to start with a reminder of the 4 vital behaviors of coaching, which is number 1, proof of the product, being a proof of the product. Number 2 is inviting, invite. Number 3 is personal development. I challenge you all to work on personal development. I choose my own personal development based on the things I'm struggling with. If it's confidence, if it's wanting to stay in the business, if it's how to invite people, how to get new customers, how to keep people on longer, whatever you're struggling with, it's really important to focus your personal development on that item. And I have tons of awesome books, both that I've read and there's a whole bunch of recommendations out there. So check in with me or your coach if you're interested in a new personal development book. And then the 4th, which is what we're talking about tonight, which is recognition. Recognition is really important because it's important to remember how you feel when you get recognized for something. I think personally, for years and years and years, I worked in a corporate field. And in my day-to-day life, in my job, I don't always get a pat on the back. And we have this unique ability in our jobs as coaches to recognize each other, recognize the coaches that are working for us, and recognize our challengers, and even just recognition in general to people in our life. There is so much negativity in the world and so many negative things that go on. There's so much negativity just within this business. Not every coach follows this vital behavior, and it shows in the way that they handle difficult things, challenges. A lot of that also comes out in personal development. And so the very first thing I want to tell you is that I want you to focus on fully embracing your personal development to help you be able to recognize people. One of the most common things that I've heard, and I've actually felt this way myself, is it's natural and normal to feel envious of somebody else's journey, to feel a little bit jealous of somebody else's journey. Are they getting better results as a coach? Are they getting better results as a challenger? Those are questions that come up a lot for a lot of us, and I hear them come from a lot of my coaches. And so I challenge you in your personal development to work on that, on being able to fully embrace other people's success and to be able to celebrate them. So my very first big tip is that if you're not in a position where you're able to truly celebrate and feel happy for someone when they're succeeding, first I need you to know that that's okay, and that's a normal, human, natural response. So it's totally normal to make you question what you're doing, if you're good enough. I assure you that you are, but you really need to focus your personal development in that area if you're not sure that you are. Because I can tell you a million times that I think you're fabulous and wonderful, but a big piece of this vital behavior is knowing that yourself. And so being able to take that on and really face it in personal development is not only very brave of you to say out loud, I struggle with this, but it's brave of you to address it. So that's my number one tip before we really get into it. So who do we recognize? Who is this recognition driven towards? Coaches, challengers, people going above and beyond. It doesn't have to be your own coaches. You could recognize each other. You could recognize coaches in Team Lead and Love, Team Ignite the Fire, but really reaching out and embracing what we do as coaches, which is to support, to help, to guide, encourage. A big piece of that is recognition. And I believe on Thursdays, which is the day that I'm in charge of through Coach Tober posting, it is about recognition. And I try to have everybody reach out above and beyond just coaching and just the recognition of their challengers, and really drive recognition with people in our life. What about the people who support us? Stephanie did an amazing post yesterday about her and her partner and how much how much attention he's giving her, how much accountability he's giving her. And it wasn't Recognition Thursday. She just chose to share that and to recognize him. And what a gift to give, and I shared this with her earlier, what a gift to give herself, to give her partner, and to show the whole world that it's not always easy, that we don't always accept, specifically in her situation, we take suggestions and tips from people, and sometimes we take it as criticism. I mean, I read that post and I told her, I had tears in my eyes, not only because I know that personal journey, but I know what that feels like when someone's just trying to help you and you're initially like, that hurts, but really it's a matter of sort of facing and looking at the truth and what they're trying to tell you. So I just really want to commend Stephanie on that post yesterday. I found it just incredibly heartwarming. So recognizing people, even just outside of our business, outside of coaching. Sorry, I need to fix something here really quick because I'm sitting on a giant blanket. Recognizing people outside of coaching and taking the time to recognize the people who support us, people who support other people. And it really drives those people to recognize and support other people too. So it has a complete domino effect, which I love. It's a fact. People don't get a lot of recognition in life. Particularly right now, we're a country that suddenly becomes divided by politics, and it's so important that we don't spend, it's not that I don't expect anyone to stand up for what they believe in. Everybody in the Facebook world knows right now that I've been standing up for some things I believe in a little bit more than normal on other people's pages, but I don't put a lot on my page as far as where I stand political-wise. But there's just a lot of negativity. People want to feel good again. Negativity is infringing on our nation right now. It's infringing on our groups. People are divided. We often know where other people stand politically, and sometimes that can feel, it's sensitive. We feel all sorts of things around it. And so taking this time specifically to really recognize and celebrate each other and celebrate every single milestone and everything that's happening, I think is more vital than ever. And that's just my 2 cents. So what will happen if we spend more time in recognition? Lower turnover. And these are statistics and facts. So there will be lower turnover in our coaches, lower turnover in our challenge groups, lower turnover in our personal life. Nobody likes having friends leave us. And granted, there are times that friends need to leave for a little bit, and my children are going to fight in the background apparently. But lower turnover is a really, really big deal. I mean, one of the things that we've been working on as a team is staying power, and recognition is one of the keys to that staying power. will achieve better results. All of those people are more driven to work when we celebrate every little success. So if you have a 5-day group, which we all just finished one, and somebody says, I only lost a pound, or I didn't lose any weight, but I'm drinking more water, we're going to celebrate the heck out of that person. We're going to recognize them for the hard work that they did, because every little step is what leads us to these bigger steps and these bigger results. And we know that. We know that because it happened to all of us. I consider us to be a really supportive team, and we have had a little bit of negativity lately. And we'll just be honest and say that, like, we've all been feeling the pressure of the business this month. But I think more than ever, it's important that when we are faced with some of that negativity, that we're addressing it. We don't want to dismiss anyone's feelings, but we need to address it in a real way. If we continue the negativity and we feed the negativity with more negativity is just going to breed from that. And it's very uncomfortable for everybody. So while we're all allowed to have a bad day, believe me, we all need to have people that we can count on to kind of, when we're having those days. But what I think we should do is really stick to doing that. I don't want to say with one person, like, I don't want you to overwhelm one person, but really, like, recognize where you're at. Where are you at with recognition? And this is something that I worked on recently with my own 9-year-old. So he's been having a hard time getting up, going to school, doing those things. He's been really overwhelmed with anxiety. And so one morning I took him and I said, you know what? Today we're going to go have a bagel on our way to school. And we talked about how that made him feel good to have special time with me on the way. So I said, how about if you pay that forward and you recognize somebody in your life who's making you feel good about who you are, and let's make them feel good. And so he chose his teacher and he brought her a coffee and a card. And when she called me later, I did share this on my Facebook, so I'm sure some of you saw it already. She stopped what she was doing and called me and said that nobody had ever done anything like that for her. And I explained to her that Joel was paying it forward, that he wanted to recognize someone important in his life, and he chose her. And she gave me the word that she would continue to pay it forward. And I truly believe that she did. And I know that that's a really good example of what we can do. We pay it forward. We see something yucky happening. We do something nice for that person. That person does something nice for someone else. And we don't even have to say we're trying to pay it forward. Like, we can just do nice things for each other, recognize each other's hard work, instead of sort of staying stuck in that circle of negativity. And I think that that's really important. We'll have better goal setting and stronger communication, both in our team and with our challengers. When we take time to recognize people, they're more likely to reach out to us when they're struggling. We're taking their experience and we're pulling from it, because we have these people, and ourselves included, who have been stuck in this pattern for year after year after year after year of eating terrible, of bouncing off of, diets that work and don't work, of trying this, trying that, nothing's working. And the expectation we have is that it's just going to work like that. And we all know as coaches that that's not the case. So by providing them celebration and recognition at every small goal, even if it was just this week I wanted to drink my shake 5 times instead of 3, we're going to celebrate them for succeeding at that. If they drank 4 instead of meeting their 5, hey, they still drank 1 more than last week. So we're going to high five them and celebrate them and recognize them, because that's really important. And it doesn't always have to be in a group. It can often be done one-on-one. And I think that's what's important. Recognition doesn't mean it's a public recognition all the time. It can often just mean a very private recognition. But that really helps open up the lines of communication and shows them that you care. And all of this stuff can apply to everything. I mean, we can apply the same theory to our kids, to our husbands, to our friends, to fellow coaches. It's not just challengers I'm talking about. I'm just going to use that a lot as an example tonight. It builds that connection between you and that person. Again, it just shows them that you care, that you're interested, that you're invested in them, that they're not just another challenge pack sale, or, it's not necessarily guaranteeing that they're going to stay. They might still leave. And if they leave, that's okay. We're not going to shame them for leaving. We're going to do everything we can to keep them and remind them of how it's working for them. And we're going to be able to remind them how it's working for them because we made that connection with them and we know what goals they were working towards and we know what goals they've hit. And then it just creates more accountability. It lets them know that you're interested and that they can come to you, and if they have those little goals to work towards and that recognition to look forward to, they'll just keep working towards that recognition. And everybody loves recognition. I don't care what anybody says. Some people don't like public recognition, but everybody loves to be recognized for what they're doing. It's a feel-good process. By human nature, we all want to be recognized for something, even if it's not in a public forum, and I want to make that clear. That doesn't mean a post on Facebook or a post in the group. Just saying one-on-one, I'm so proud of you for what you're doing. And that's often a lot of times what I do. I just message people and tell them, like, oh my God, I saw what you posted and it was amazing. Like, and I truly mean it. So keep that in mind. If you do choose to do some recognition in a public forum, like on Facebook, please remember to always ask permission. Don't just tag people in a recognition post. What I've done on my Recognition Thursday post, for example, is I'll ask, let's say Jethro, who's sitting right by my feet. I'll say, Jethro, this week I'm going to recognize you on Facebook. Is that okay? He's really excited right now. He thinks I'm going to take him out because I made the high-pitched voice like yes to go. So I asked Jethro, is it okay if I post and tag you on Facebook? And maybe Jethro says, I'm not comfortable because I don't want my other doggy friends to know that I'm your favorite dog. So, or maybe a challenger says, I'm not comfortable with that because I don't want everybody to know what I'm doing in my program, or I have all these Beachbody coach friends. I don't want them to know that I picked you as my coach. Great. I'm not even going to use your name then. I'm just going to say a challenger. Is that okay with you? Because I just really want you to see and for people to know what you're doing. So always ask permission. And that's really, really important. I think everybody's really good about that on this team. I haven't ever heard of anything otherwise, although there have been times in the past where I've worked with other coaches who didn't follow that on different bigger teams. And I saw them sort of feeling defensive because someone was upset that they had done that. And that goes back to that recognition piece. Not everybody likes it publicly, but everybody likes it personally. And we don't recognize people to create business, and we don't recognize people to create new customers. We recognize people to make them feel good about their journey. It's a personal touch. And I know the people who like to hear it publicly. And I know the people who like to hear it privately. And so it's just really important and respectful to do it that way. And you want even though your intention would be to make them feel good, you really want to make sure that that your intention matches exactly what happens. So just make sure you always ask permission. So some tips for you on recognition. Be specific. Don't do just a broad, I love Stephanie. She's amazing at challenges. She drinks her shakes. Boom. Like your recognition should really be like, Stephanie set a goal. And if it's okay with Stephanie, and I'm posting this on Facebook, she set a goal. This was her goal, and she hit that goal. And we're so excited to celebrate that goal. Like, be very as specific as you can, as they're willing to allow you to be in public. And then if it's in private, you can be even more specific. You can say, I know how hard you worked to get to this point. Remember 2 weeks ago when you were really struggling with your water and you didn't ever drink water and you yelled at me and said there was nothing you could do to make it better? I mean, I don't say it like that, but, like, and you were frustrated and you were hurting and you were stressed, and look at you now, look at where you've come. So be as specific as possible. Praise often. It's part of the 4 vital behaviors. It's part of the 4 vital behaviors that you are recognizing people daily. So find something. Can you just put him in his bed, please? Find something daily and someone that you can recognize daily, even if it's one-on-one, even if it's your child, even if it's your child's teacher, even if it's someone at school or someone at work, or so. Just, it feels good to give the love. So do it every day. Practice often. Praise often. Every single day. Show them as much as you tell them. So be an example of it. Show them what they did. Show them a previous message. Show them, with my kids and their homework. I show them, look at where you were and look at where you are now. A visual is so important. I have challengers who are like, I'm not making any headway. I'm doing awful. And I can be like, really? Because look at this message I have from you from like 2 months ago. Look at these before pictures and look at you now. Like your body might be slowing down right now. And so we need to set some new goals, but like show them their progress. Recognize what's happened. And same with your coaches. Coaches who say things like, I'm not hitting Success Club this month. I can't believe I'm not hitting Success Club this month. Well, let's talk about it. Let me show you what you did a couple months ago. What were you doing differently then? Let's talk about that month. That month was awesome. Let's talk about what's happening this month. Did you restate your goals? Let's look at how everybody's struggling this month. So what are you doing differently this month? And then they're going to give you this list of things, and you're going to be able to go, oh my God, look at you. Look at how you're working on your personal development in this area because that's something that you chose. So now we just need to focus on this, and you can put it all together, and then 2 weeks later, you'll be celebrating them again with how far they've moved forward. Praise appropriately. Of course, you want to recognize the differences in people. Don't no generic. I'm taking that to mean when I wrote it down, you don't want like a generic praise. You don't want the same praise that you give everybody else. This isn't rocket science. This isn't something you have to sit down and think about every night. You're not going to have to be like, oh, great, Stephanie's given us something else to do. Now I'm going to have to sit around and figure out how to praise someone new every day. Nope, because every single day we have an opportunity to praise somebody. Every single day. We're on Facebook every day, usually. We go out in the world every day. Someone give you good customer service, tell them. We have challengers every day. We have coaches every day. We have husbands. We have there's just so many opportunities in the day. This isn't just one other thing. This is going to change your life. It's going to make you feel better. So don't be generic. Appropriately recognize people, recognize their differences, and find someone to praise every single day. And then spread it out amongst all the people. I know that sometimes it seems like in the coaching world particularly, there's a lot of praise given to the same people based on their numbers, especially in our bigger team. And that is totally okay and totally normal, because those bigger teams, there are goals and there are levels that are needing to be met in order to make this business successful for those bigger teams. So it's okay that happens. But just at the level that we're at and the team that we're on, I would ask that you spread it out amongst all the people. If you find yourself just praising one person after the next, and I mean, that's going to happen sometimes. Like, you're going to have someone who hit Success Club, who finished a training, who changed status, and obviously that person's going to show up more in our news feed for that time. But as a general rule, kind of going back to that, great, Stephanie's giving me one more assignment to do. No. There are people all over the world in our lives every single day that we can praise and that we can acknowledge. So just spread it out as much as you can. Okay, so then a few examples of how I do recognition. I recognize coaches for celebrations, obviously. I try to do it privately a lot. Sometimes I'm doing it publicly a lot. I try to acknowledge when I post something in the page. I try to give an example of how I've seen a coach behaving in this way that I'm speaking of, obviously in a good light, not in a bad light. Celebrations like weddings, birthdays, things like that. If you know something special going on in someone's life, their child's birthday, recognizing. It's fun to recognize our friends' birthdays, our friends' kids' birthdays, but what about the amazing mom behind that kid's birthday? That's always my favorite. That's a really fun recognition for me. Success is not related to Success Club. Like you'll see me do that a lot, where I try to acknowledge people for showing up for things, for being present, for being available, for going through a training, for helping someone, for helping each other, being positive with each other, things like that. Recognizing people one-on-one, of course. I kind of talked about that earlier, so I won't go into that more. I do a lot of personal recognition one-on-one in messages. I find that to be so much more intimate. I love to shout out from the world when people are doing awesome things. But I also really like to have that personal conversation with people because that's meaningful too. And it's funny because husband Troy, I shall call him, that's his anonymous name, he doesn't love Facebook. But every once in a while he'll be like, you haven't said anything nice about me on Facebook. So I know it matters to him. So see, all those times he makes fun of me for doing it. So making sure you also do it for other people to see. And then just recognizing each other. Like we are a team that is united. I know it's frustrating, huh? There's no more water in the picture because I didn't fill it up. So anyways, recognizing each other. I think that that's really important. Like we all work really hard. We work hard as a team. We love each other. Things get hard. We struggle. But taking the time to get to know each other. If there's new coaches on our team that you don't know, invite them to these Zooms. Invite them through Facebook. Invite them to be your friend. Invite them to get to know them. Like when, Emma, can you not do that right now? This is the worst Zoom recording I've ever done in my life. It's like dogs barking, Scooby-Doo on the floor in the background. Stinks, jumping. I'm not even going to post this. This is so dumb. Anyways.
This is real life, though.
This is real life. Welcome to my life. Yeah, and this is being recorded for later. Come on, stick your towel head in and say hi. Hello. Come in here. Say hi to everybody. I'd like to recognize my daughter for being beautiful and amazing and going to Powell's bookstore with me today. Anyways, so I just really wanted to touch on all the points of recognition in my real life house of chaos. Because I think that it's a piece that's missing, particularly this month while we're all struggling to meet goals we've set for ourselves, meet goals that we feel like are being put on us. Let's focus on recognition because I think it goes a long, long ways. It makes us feel better. It makes other people feel better. It gives us something to do when we're caught up in the negativity and we're hurting and we're anxious and we're overwhelmed with life. Whether it's hormonal or anxiety or just life and what's happening. I'm a huge believer in recognition. I've talked about this a million times. I worked for a large corporation, and while I did not receive a lot of recognition from my corporate bosses, I was persistent and consistent about recognition of my employees. And I will tell you that in a business where turnover was averagely rated at 90 to 110%, I consistently for 14 years, just click this off my screen, consistently for 14 years stayed at 15% or below in turnover. And I believe every single bit of that was due to recognition. And not like candy bars or coffee or presents, but simple thank yous and an acknowledgement of what people did. I'm very passionate about recognition. I don't think it has to be prizes. I don't think it has to be presents. I don't think it has to be cheesy. I don't think it has to be long and drawn out. I think people need to know they matter and that their goals matter and that they matter. And it feels good. Have I said that a million times already? It feels good to offer that to other people. So that was my awesome Zoom in a nutshell. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I'm going to end it now, and I hope everyone really enjoys this recording.